I did sentiment analysis on over 1 million YouTube comments across 62 different channels. I'm going to share what I learned in this video, but before I do that, I need to give you some context about what this channel, and more specifically what this project, is all about. I'm building a content curation service called Whitelist. I want to find high-quality YouTube channels that adhere to Catholic moral teachings, and then platform them on a separate website so they're super easy to find. Now, I understand if the religion thing is not your cup of tea. I grew up as an atheist, so I get where you're coming from. This project won't appeal to everyone, and that's okay. If I cared about pleasing everyone, I wouldn't be Catholic. Although my capacity for watching YouTube videos is embarrassingly large, it is not infinite. If I'm going to filter channels, I'll need a way to automate the process. Initially, my rough plan was to just download a bunch of transcripts and then worry about how to analyze them. YouTube provides a tool to the public called an API, or an application programming interface, that allows you to download large quantities of their data. This includes things like video titles, descriptions, and thumbnails, among other things. You can also technically download video transcripts, but for some reason, you need to have permission to edit the video.
Huh?
Okay, that's dumb, but it looks like there's no getting around that. Hey, wait a minute, here's a Python package that can download transcripts from any video. How is that possible? Well, according to the project files, this code uses an undocumented part of the YouTube API, which is called by the YouTube web client. Right, what does that mean? Well, from what I understand, your web client is basically your browser. When you visit a video, your browser asks YouTube for a bunch of information on your behalf. What this package seems to do is skip the browser stuff and ask YouTube for a transcript directly. Now, if this seems a bit shady, you're right. Using undocumented API features goes against YouTube's terms of service, and as convenient as this approach might be, I won't be using it. I complained to a friend about this, and he suggested that instead of transcripts, I should focus on analyzing YouTube comments. This is a great idea for a couple of reasons. Video comments, unlike transcripts, are available through the public API, and while they might not be as informative as video transcripts, there's still a lot of great information there. Popular YouTube videos have tons of comments that not only indicate what the video is about, but also indicate what the audience is about. Can we use YouTube comments to predict whether a given channel is suitable for a Catholic audience? I don't really know. I suspect the answer is yes, but part of the reason I started this channel is to document my research, so if that's something that interests you, be sure to subscribe. Moreover, if you want to contribute to this project, I'll have some more information for you at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around. Now, because this is my first research video, I want to keep things light and fun. Let's just play with some data and see what we learn. A straightforward way to analyze comments is with sentiment analysis. For this, I used a piece of software called Vader, which takes a string of text and gives you 3 scores which tell you how negative, neutral, and positive the text is. Cool. So if I have a bunch of comments from a channel, I can calculate the average Vader scores for the entire channel. Oh, wait a minute, comments can have likes. That's additional information we can use. When a person likes a comment, they're basically agreeing with it. A comment with 100 likes is therefore equivalent to the same comment repeated 100 times. In order to account for this, we'll take a weighted average of the Vader scores, where the weight of each comment is the number of likes it has, plus 1 since the like count starts at 0. Great! So now we have weighted averages for the positivity, neutrality, and negativity of each channel. Let's create some meaningful variables. Define the kindness of a channel to be this quantity here. You can see from the definition that kindness is equal to -1 when all the comments are negative, +1 when all the comments are positive, and 0 when the comments are equally positive and negative. How about another variable? Let's define the volatility of a channel. A channel should have a high volatility if there's a lot of positive and negative comments in about equal measure. If, however, most of the comments are positive, negative, or neutral, the channel should have a low volatility since the comments have a consistent sentiment. Here's a definition of volatility that fits these specifications. If around 50% of the comments are positive and around 50% are negative, then the denominator is going to be small and the volatility will blow up. If, however, most of the comments are positive, negative, or neutral, the denominator will equal the numerator and this quantity becomes 1. In hindsight, I would have added a -1 to this definition, so the volatility would start from 0, but whatever. This is the definition I'm going to be using for this video. Now for the fun part. Let's make a scatterplot of YouTube channels according to the kindness and volatility of their comments. Each data point was calculated using up to 50,000 comments, and if you're interested in my methodology, you can pause to read this wall of text. These data points have a clear downward trend. As channels become more positive, they also become less volatile. Here's the line of best fit, calculated with linear regression, and here's the slope and the y-intercept. Let's take a look at some channels by genre. Since I'm Catholic, I'm obviously interested in seeing how the Catholic channels do. Nice, looks pretty positive. Here's a list of the channels I've highlighted in increasing order of positivity. Matt Fradd is the least positive channel here, while Catholic Answers Live is the most positive. The number next to each channel is the number of their comments that I analyzed, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of variance. Do take some of these data points with a grain of salt. Let's compare the Catholic channels to some atheist channels. It seems like the atheist channels are considerably less positive on average. Interesting. Here's a list of those channels, again, in increasing order of positivity. Based on this limited information, maybe the positive channels over here are more likely to conform to Catholic moral teachings. That might be true to some extent, but there are clear counterexamples. These orange dots, for example, are Protestant channels, also very positive. These two green dots are Muslim channels. And these triangles are channels that promote, or at least support, queer ideology. Okay, so just because a channel has positive comments doesn't necessarily mean it's going to conform to church teachings. Fair enough. If all that wasn't spicy enough for you, let's get into some politics. The red dots I've highlighted are right-wing channels, and the blue dots are left-wing channels. Both are pretty volatile and negative, which checks out, though it seems like the right-wing channels might be slightly more negative. I don't really watch sports, but I do watch the occasional chess video. Here's a list of some popular chess channels. Aside from the outlier channel to the left, it seems like the chess community is surprisingly positive. Finally, let's take a look at some educational channels. These tend to be very positive, which makes sense considering that these content artists tend to be excellent explainers. Let's take a step back now and reflect on what we've learned. While comment positivity might be a useful factor in determining whether something goes on the whitelist, it's clearly an insufficient metric on its own. At the end of the day, kindness is just a measure of how supportive your audience is. A glowing comment section doesn't necessarily mean that you're right, and likewise, getting flamed for a hot take doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong. What are some directions for further research? Well, one idea I've been sitting on for a while is that the amount of profanity in comments is probably a very effective metric for separating good channels from bad ones. Honestly, I'm hoping that this alone will handle like 90% of all cases, but we'll have to wait and see. Blasphemy is an interesting complication. Sometimes the Lord's name is used legitimately, but sometimes it's not. I did a quick web search, hoping to find a pre-trained binary classifier, but I was surprised to find that nothing like this seems to exist yet. Training this classifier is probably going to be the focus of a future video, so stay tuned for that. If you want to see the full list of all the channels that I analyzed, you can find my source code and data files in the description below. If you're interested in the Whitelist project and want to help make the internet a better place, I started a Discord server you can join. Wow. Come hang out, share some memes, and have a chat. That's about it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe so that we can grow the channel. God bless, and I'll see you next time.